Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, students, teachers, and parents.
Hello,
From across the Caribbean. Welcome to the Caribbean Philanthropic Fund Digital Educational Forum. The name says it all. Today, our educational forum will be filled with fun facts about our beautiful islands we call home. When we share the word Caribbean, I'm sure you have a lot of beautiful memories, but so many beautiful memories come to mind. When we want to experience nature, whether we live in Barbados, Bahamas, Cayman Islands, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Jamaica, Belize, Suriname, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago, we can look through our windows and view beautiful trees. Or we can take a walk, a bus, or even a taxi or a car to experience our beautiful beaches and sit under a coconut tree. We are truly blessed to live in the Caribbean, a region known for sun, sand, and sea. Our beautiful islands of the Caribbean are also in jeopardy if we do not protect our environment. And today we will share many ways that we can protect our islands, especially our natural asset, our trees. You'll learn about the value of trees today and how important they are in our lives. I represent the Bridge Foundation Green Space Project today. It works in schools with parents and communities to promote literacy, knowledge building, and we use children's books as community building to engage children and about the environment. And I'm also a proud member of the Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance, which is made up of many, many organizations committed to working together special challenges in the Caribbean and to create solutions to make our environment better. For the entire week, we have been celebrating our achievements of planting over 1.5 million trees. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. 1.5 million trees throughout the Caribbean through our tree planting project. And we thank you for joining us in our celebration. Now, I would like to introduce you to Talya Mohammed, our presenter today. She wears many, many hats, and she's a very special person. She's a project coordinator of the CariPhilAlliance in Trinidad. She leads a very big youth advocacy group called Planty Roots and works with Bridge Foundation, promoting many environmental initiatives. She's a true environmental advocate who does not stop, who really believes in the importance of trees and truly lives her life saving and protecting the environment. So today, you're going to welcome to Green Space presentation to save and protect the environment, and we'll be promoting many, many different SDGs for you. So I'm going to take it over. I'm going to ask Talya to take it from here. So enjoy, everyone. Enjoy the presentation. See you soon.
Hi, everyone. Hi, kitties. So today we have a nice presentation. Thanks so much, Anthea. It was wonderful. It's wonderful leading the team, and it's been wonderful. Hi. Today we have a nice information education session for you all, and we're gonna go into some information. We're gonna on why it's important to care for trees, and we're going to take you for a little trip around the islands. So get ready, and if you have any questions and you want to ask any questions, we're going to make sure and you have a spot to ask questions at the end of the presentation. And if anybody wants to see the slide or go back over anything, just raise your hand. And I know a lot of you all know how to use Zoom, so use the option to raise hands. Okay. So today we're going to learn about the importance of trees. We're going to go on an island trip, and we're going to talk about how to plant a seed and care for a seedling, and of course something called a Save a Seed campaign. So let's go. First, we're going to talk to you about who is Plant Your Roots. So we are a group of local organizations, and we just heard from Anthea, who is the lead organization. She runs an organization called Bridge Foundation, and we are supporting the Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance, and we have a goal to plant 1 million trees across the Caribbean, which we did. So anybody could tell where is this? Anybody?
Maracas Bay.
Yes, that is Maracas Bay, and we love Maracas Bay. It's in Trinidad and Tobago. When we have visitors come to Trinidad and Tobago, this is one of the first places that they go. And it's really, really, really lovely because we could get to eat our favorite island, our favorite beach food, which is called bake and shark. Next, press. And on this beach, you notice this tree. What type of tree is this? This is a coconut tree. And we see these trees all over the Caribbean, don't we? And they're very, 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 very popular on the beaches. The coconut tree is very important. Anybody from Belize here? Did anybody know that in the Caribbean we have pyramids? This is in Belize. And it is actually part of what we call a UNESCO heritage site. It is called Lamanai, and it was a Mayan site. And when the Spanish came to Belize, they found the Mayans still living there. And this is a very famous site in Belize. If everybody end up going to Belize, this is one of the places you all need to visit. And you see it's surrounded by forests and trees which help protect the natural site. Next. Oh, this is a beautiful place in Barbados. This is called the Andromeda Botanical Gardens in Barbados. And it is very, very, very important to preservation of different tree species on the islands. They have tropical plants from all over the world in this garden. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have something similar called the Botanical Gardens, but this is called the Andromeda Botanical Gardens in Barbados. They have colorful brick walkways and stepping stones, and they have absolutely huge, what we call the bearded fig tree. You could see it in the picture. And these trees once covered the entire island, and it was Portuguese sailors who came and named Barbados, meaning the bearded one. So Barbados is named after this tree. So when we go to Barbados, where we're going to look for the Andromeda Botanical Gardens. Next. Well, we had some very sad news this morning. This is in Haiti, and in Haiti Haiti is a beautiful country, but sometimes, we are bombarded by news of how they have a lot of people that don't have different things in Haiti. But today we're talking about this beautiful place in Haiti where many people in the Caribbean don't even know. This is called the Citadel La Fierie, or they just call it the Citadel in Haiti. And sometimes it's called the Citadel Henry. This fort is the biggest fort in the whole of the Americas. And by the whole of the Americas, we mean even North and South America. It is the biggest fort ever built. And this massive stone structure was built by 20,000 freed slaves between 1804 and 1820, a very long time ago. And it was designed to keep the newly independent Haiti safe from people who were still trying to take over the island. And it was built several miles on top of this mountain called Bonnet à l'Évêque. And it's very important for us to understand how important mountains are and forests are when we think about protecting our land and protecting our spaces. The reason they built it high on top of the mountain was so nobody could get to it, but also high on top of a mountain, we could see very far. So it was a very important fortress that they built. And it's still very beautiful and is a very, very important landmark in Haiti. It's a symbol of strength and power. Next. Oh, I can't wait to go Jamaica to see this place. My parents went. This is called Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica, and it's one of their national treasures. This is one of the few places where the Arawaks used to be very prominently when our islands were discovered by the colonizers. The Arawaks used to be here very often. And did you all know the Arawaks actually named Jamaica? They named Jamaica based on the Arawak name Hayamaika, and it means the land of rivers and springs. And this is one of the biggest waterfalls and river falls in Jamaica. And they have a lot of tourists that come here. And of course, it's in the forest, and you have to walk on a little trail to get to it. The Dunn's River Fall is very unique, and it's described as a living and growing waterfall because it continuously generates itself from the deposits of the rock that is formed there. And there are a lot of limestone caves around. So this is one of the most beautiful places in Jamaica. People come from all over the world to visit the Dunn's River waterfall. Next. This place is quite amazing. I'm not sure if we have any Surinamis on the call today, any Suriname kids. This is called the Brownsburg Nature Reserve, and it's in the northeast part of Suriname. It is a protected area, and there's a lot of rare wildlife. And that animal, it's called, anybody wants to guess? It's called the jaguar. And the jaguars in this area are protected because there are still a lot of hunters that are trying to hunt them. And there's a lot of waterfalls. So it's a great panoramic view from the top of the Brownsburg Reserve where you could see down into the massive man-made lake called the Brokopono Dam. And they use this water also to create power. So there's a lot of amazing hiking, and there's all these wildlife. And of course, as I said, the area is protected. It is a protected area, and a lot of scientists and environmentalists in Suriname do a lot of work to make sure this area remains protected. Okay, so we're going to learn on the importance of trees. Trees are very important to us. One of the first things that trees are very important to us for is trees give us food, right? And some of us take for granted that so much food we have comes from trees. And also there's a lot of, we use a word called livelihoods. Livelihoods is a big word for work. So there are a lot of what kind of guy is this on the left here? This is a vendor in the market. And this vendor has on the correct clothes. He has on PPE. So he's safe while he's working. And trees are very important for food. But also they provide jobs for people, many, many jobs. And one of the most important jobs they provide is they allow people to sell food to make money. Next. This is a very interesting slide. Next. Trees and man. No, go back. Trees and man. So the most important thing that we get from trees and sometimes we take for granted, go back one, Andrea, is the fact that we actually get medicine from plants and trees. You all know that? We get a lot of plants and medicine from trees. And the most important thing that people take for granted is, you see that picture there where we're seeing stuff growing on the tree?
Yes, Miss.
Right. So we have trees act as an ecosystem and a habitat for many different animals, plants, and even microorganisms. So sometimes we take for granted that we cut down trees in different parts of the world, and a lot of scientists know that we still have medicine we have not discovered yet because people are cutting down so much trees. There's a show called The Medicine Man. Y'all should go watch it. It's a nice show. And it talks about the importance of all our rainforests all over the world and how it's very important because there are so many things that still hasn't been discovered. Yes, Adrian?
Miss, our teacher teaches it this in school, said trees give us fruits and vegetables.
Yes. Fruits, yes, they give us
And
food.
also give us soil.
Yes.
And soil.
And soil. We'll come to how it helps with the soil. So we're talking about trees and man and how it's very important that we protect our trees because they are very important when we have to make different types of medicine and even medicine that for diseases that we don't have cures for yet, like cancer. So don't think that this little pill here, the pill just comes from a factory. We need trees and different plants to help develop medicines so we could be strong and healthy. Next. So trees and man. This is a very important one. How many times you all stand up in the hot sun and you're looking for a tree to stand up under?
1,000,000 times.
1,000,000 times. Because trees are natural umbrellas. So you see how important trees are, and sometimes we take for granted. We go to this big field to play a football game or to go and play, and all the trees have been cut down. There's a big savanna by Auntie Talya called the Arangwe Savanna. And we had these huge rain trees, huge trees, bigger than this tree. This is a mango tree. And I just remember waking up one morning and they had a big event in the savannah, and the next day the tree fell down. The big tree, all the roots were sticking up in the air. So we don't know if it was the loud music and all the people that put stress on the tree, because it wasn't a storm, and the tree just killed over and fell down the next day. So you see how it's important that we protect our trees too, even from sound and noise pollution. And it's very important for us to have shade. And another one that we love to do as children and even big people, you could see some people up in the side of the tree there, sitting down on the branches, because we like to climb trees, right? Next slide.
Yes.
This is a very important one. Trees and man, they actually need wood to build. And that's why it's very important in countries that don't use bricks and they use a lot of wood that we plant back trees, because the wood is needed for us to build houses. And it's very important that we have shelter. So trees are very important in those aspects, especially for what we call natural materials from the tree. And one of the biggest natural materials we get from trees are its wood, which comes from the trunk of the trees and some of the branches, but mostly we use the trunk. The biggest part of the tree is the trunk of the tree. Okay, next. One more. Right. So now we're going on to trees and animals. How many people see trees? And okay, let's take a question from Adrian. We'll give Tanoa a chance first. Yes, Tanoa, go ahead.
Miss
Yes.
Miss Parrot is a bird, Miss, and they live up in the mountain, Miss. And the bird, Miss, the owl, Miss, he always come at night, Miss, and make nice, Miss, and they can take a big Miss, I see it on YouTube, Miss, the owl, Miss, can take up crocodile, Miss, with their foot, Miss, up into the air, Miss, and let them go.
Wow.
Them can talk, Miss.
Yes, so it's very important that we know that if we cut down trees, that we actually cut down the homes of our animals, because the owl, it hunts in the night and it sleeps in the day. So you see that owl poking out his head there? It's because somebody's disturbing him. So trees provide shelter for animals and food. The parrot, it actually provides food for the parrot, and a lot of animals, they live in the trees and they get food from the trees. And if they don't live in the same tree that they get the food from, of course they fly or they scurry from tree to tree to look for the kinds of food that they need. Next. So shelter and food. Okay, so this is what Adrian was talking about. Trees are very important for the roots. They help hold the soil. Next. They absorb the water in the soil, so it acts like a sponge. And the excess water, it actually goes down. So next, then goes down the water table, but the other set is absorbed by the plants. So when the tree roots either absorb the water, or it helps because the roots go down, and it helps go down into the water table, this helps prevent flooding. And you know, during the rainy season, that is something we have to look out for as humans, that we don't have flooding happening. So in Trinidad and Tobago especially, people live at the bottom of the mountains, and the more trees that we cut down in the mountains, the more flooding happens lower down on the flat land at the bottom of the mountains, because we're cutting down all the trees and the roots help absorb the water or take the water deeper into the mountain. And the rest of the water, of course, goes into the streams that go on to join the rivers, and that goes on to join the sea. Next. Okay, so we're going to learn about the carbon cycle in this one. Everybody heard about the carbon cycle?
Yes.
Carbon.
No, ma'am.
Well, we're going to learn about it now. Okay, next. Pay attention to this picture that's coming up on your screen. There's a lot of arrows. Okay, so we have carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's a gas. Everybody seen it at the top? That's carbon dioxide, right? And the trees take in the carbon dioxide, which we're going to learn about that process after. It takes in the carbon dioxide, and when the leaves die, which is what Adrian was talking about, when the leaves die and they fall on the ground and they decay, right? So at the bottom, you see life, decay, and death. And you see that cow there?
Yes, Miss.
That arrow means the cow poop. The cow poop also goes on the ground, right? And that is carbon as well.
Yes, teacher.
Right? And then sometimes also the factories, they actually, when they produce things like our food, and they produce things for us to drive in, like automobiles, any single thing that we make in factories, the gas that is given off is called carbon dioxide as well, because we're burning some fuel to make our factories work. So all those carbon dioxide goes into the atmosphere as well. But the most important part of this is what the plants do. In addition to the leaves dying on the ground, and of course the animals and human beings, we breathe out carbon dioxide that also goes back into the air. We're going to learn about something called photosynthesis, which is very important, and how the planet balances carbon dioxide and oxygen in our planet. So next slide.
Miss, I can say something from that picture, Miss.
Right. So now we're going to look. This is a
Miss,
leaf, right? Who is that? Adrian?
yes, Miss.
So this
Yes,
is a
Miss.
leaf. Yes, Adrian. Go ahead.
Miss,
Adrian.
Miss, the first picture, Miss. Miss with the three, Miss, the tree, Miss, and the factory, Miss, and the nether tree, Miss, and the cow, Miss, and the breeze, Miss, that they call, Miss, Miss, I see the breeze, Miss, they call it. It you're going to need to get here, Miss. If you don't get it, Miss, you're going to get, Miss, going to need
Yes.
oxygen.
Right. So we're going to learn about oxygen and how the trees help with making oxygen on the next slide, Adrian. So pay attention because we have questions at the end, right? Oh, I don't know. What is this on the PowerPoint?
Okay.
Right. So this process is called photosynthesis. Just press once more, Andrea. It'll come up at the bottom. And right, this is called photosynthesis. You all see that this is a leaf, right? And the background is a leaf.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes, Miss.
we have carbon dioxide, which is a gas, which is
Yes, Miss. Yes.
invisible and it's in the air. And we have the sun, and this shines on the leaf. This actually shines on the leaf. And water, which falls as raindrops, right? So there's something that happens inside of the leaf that is almost magical. But when we get older, we will learn about it. It's a chemistry. It's a chemical reaction. So what happens, the carbon dioxide, which is the gas, and the sunshine and the water, they have a chemical reaction that happens inside of the leaf with something called chlorophyll.
Miss.
Good afternoon. And the chlorophyll inside of the leaf is what helps these three things: water, sun, and carbon dioxide. It has a chemical reaction that happens inside the leaf with chlorophyll, and this helps produce oxygen, which we all know we need oxygen to breathe, and it produces something called glucose, which is sugar, which is why the cows and many animals could just eat green things and they have enough vitamins and minerals and nutrition because they get everything from the plant leaf. And also we get food from our plants because of this process. And they produce oxygen, and that is how we breathe. So plants are very, very, very important because without the chlorophyll in their leaves and without them taking in carbon dioxide and this process called photosynthesis, we would have too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and not enough oxygen for all the humans on the planet and animals and all living things that need oxygen to breathe. So it's very important that we know that. Photosynthesis. So this shows carbon dioxide and oxygen, where the trees take in carbon dioxide and they give off oxygen. And that is called photosynthesis. So this slide, can everybody read it? What is the product of photosynthesis? It's food for plants, food for animals, and of course us, man, and oxygen for life. See how important plants are and trees are,
Miss, I can read that, Miss.
Yes.
right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Next.
Miss, I can read that, Miss.
Press again. Oxygen for life, for us to breathe.
Food for
Food for life. So now we're just going to recap. Because the trees absorb carbon dioxide for their process called photosynthesis, and they produce oxygen, and we need oxygen to live. They also help keep the planet cool and help us make rain. And that is important for our air quality. So did you know in 1 year, 1 tree can cool the air like 10 air conditions running? And it absorbs 750 gallons of water from when it rains. That's called stormwater. 1 tree. And also it helps filters pollutants from out of the air. And they have certain plants and trees that actually help filter plenty pollution out of the air, more than just carbon dioxide. Other types of pollutants like methane and other types of aerosols that we get from all these chemicals that are produced from cars and all these things that happen, that we get pollution in our atmosphere. Trees help filter out this pollution and makes the air quality much better for us. So it's very important where you live that you have trees and plants around. So it helps keep the air quality at a good level so we have good air to breathe.
Miss. I know one, Miss. Air pollution, Miss.
Yes,
Factory
Adrian.
pollution.
Factory for
Air
pollution.
pollution. Factory pollution.
Yes.
Wind pollution.
So
and
Adrian, you
air
want to read
pollution.
the slide? Trees are important.
Trees
Trees are important
trees are important
for food,
for food,
materials like the wood. We saw the picture with the wood. And of course, medicine. Next. For, of course, shade, like the umbrella, and for playing outside, to provide habitats for animals. They help stabilize the soil. And of course, they provide good air for us to breathe. You see how important the trees are?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss.
All right. So we're
Miss, I
going to
know
play a
one
little
thing.
game now. We're going to play a little game.
What
Whoever wants
game?
to play, put their hand up underneath the reactions. Whoever wants to play.
Me.
Me.
Me, Miss. Me, Miss.
Okay, so you wait for me to call your
Miss.
name, okay? Wait for me to call your name and then we'll play. It's a very easy instruction. Go to the next slide, Andrea, and then we'll come back to this one, please. So this is how we play the game, right? Very easy. Auntie Talya is going to call your name, and it's called the alphabet tree game. So based on what letter you have, you're going to actually say, so you're going to say, this is for, A is for avocado. And the next person, you're going to name either a food that comes from the tree, a part of the tree, or something that the tree does for us. So you're going to name a food that comes from the tree, an animal that lives in the tree, or anything that the tree does for us. Okay? And we go in according to the alphabet.
Miss, I can tell you our game name is Miss.
Teacher, I can tell you.
Who like to take them out, Miss?
Okay, Adrian. Adrian, you got to go first, right? Your name is A, right? So you go first.
Yes, Miss.
So what is something that starts with A that comes from a tree or lives in a tree?
Miss, Miss it is a fruit, Miss. Apple, Miss. And
Very
avocado,
good.
Miss.
Very good. Okay, Adrian. Okay, so we're going to let the others play now, all right? All right, when you finish, you put your hand down, okay? So Miss could keep track of who's playing. The next one is Kadivia. B, something that lives in a tree or comes from a tree with B. Unmute.
Banana, Miss.
Very good, the banana tree. Next is Shamilia Allen. Shamilia, you're on mute.
Coconut is a tree.
Coconut. Oh, it's so good. Very good, Shamila. Madison, you're next. D. Something that lives in a tree or a food that comes from a tree with D. D.
Date.
Dates. Very good. Dates comes from the date tree. Very good. You all are very smart. The next one is Stefan Barrow. E. You don't. E.
I know. I think I know a fruit that comes from tree.
With E.
Okay.
If you don't have a fruit, a part of a tree that starts with E, or what does a tree do for you that starts with E?
Oh, I know.
Uh-huh.
I know something that a tree does for us that starts with E.
Okay.
It helps our economy.
Very good. It helps our economy because it provides jobs for people. Oh my God, these children are so brilliant. Yes, it does. We talked about providing jobs and something called livelihood. So it helps our economy. Next one. Very good, Stefan. You are brilliant. So we're on to E, F, savoir du fus. F, something that's,
Miss.
yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, darling. F, a
Big
fruit,
Miss.
a fruit or a food or a part of the tree with F, or something the
Fig.
trees.
Big.
Fig, very good. We'll have all the types of figs in the Caribbean. We were talking about that yesterday. So what I want to ask your kids is when you already get your chance, put down your hands and five finger. Very good. That's a nice one. So put down your hands so Auntie doesn't lose track. So next person is Ali Batista. We on to FG. Hi, Ali. You on to G. Yeah, Jada, you'll go next. Jada, you'll go next. So G.
Guava.
Very good. How long I need to go over? Okay, Jada, your turn. H. 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 Jada, you're on mute. All right, we lost Jada. Anybody wants to do H? I see in two Talya Mohammeds.
Sachin.
I didn't hear.
Miss.
Houses.
Yeah, Miss Houses.
Very good. And who's the other Talya Mohammed? So
So
weird.
we're very blessed. We are trying to change, but I can't change.
It's okay. Okay, so he could do H-I. We're on to the last one. I is a hard one. A food, an animal, something that we get from trees with I. Even this one has me a little stumped. I.
I know.
Oh, you know, who's that?
Miss, this is Kanai.
Can I go ahead and answer I? Somebody will do the next one. Zoe, you'll go next.
Miss Iguana lives in
Ooh, very good, iguana.
Yes, Miss Iguana is an animal, Miss, but live in tree, Miss.
Okay,
Not egg,
so
Miss.
J. Okay, Zoe, you could do J, and then we'll go next.
Zoe, come and do.
Excuse me, Miss, I could go?
Just now, we have two Zoes on. Tamara, Mohammed, Zoe. J.
J, Zoe. In the tree.
Jaguar?
No.
Just now, I think Tamara, Mohammed answer.
Oh,
J.
okay. Yeah, Tamara.
We have more than one with Zoe on the chat. Zoe, what's with J?
Jaguar?
A jaguar. Very good. They live up in the trees, and that's where they hide. They hide from the hunters.
Very good, Tamara. Listening.
Yes. Okay, so J. Who's going next? Just unmute your mic because I'm losing track of everybody because hands are still up.
Cynic?
Me, Miss. Me, Miss.
Miss.
Emilia. Okay, Emilia. Emilia. H-I-J-K. Okay, he said iguana. We on to, okay. Very good. The next one, Skya Francis.
Cynic?
Say your name. Sine.
Cynic.
Sine. K, you have K. K. An animal, a fruit, a food that starts with K, that lives in a tree. Anybody could guess? K.
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Miss Koala.
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 Kangaroo.
A kangaroo. Does a kangaroo live in a tree?
No.
The
No.
koala lives up in the trees.
Koala live on the top on the trees. It is
Okay.
baby.
JKL. Okay, so we're gonna stop with Azaria. You're doing L because we have more to present. And y'all could, you see how fun this game is? Y'all could play it with your friends and family. So we're going on to, okay, Azaria came off the camera. L. Jada Sims, you want to do L?
I want to do L. Miss Lemon. Lemon.
Who's Lemon? Very good. Lemon is correct.
Leaf from the
Emily.
Yes.
All right. Okay, everybody like this game, boy?
limes.
Limes, very good. So everybody's going to play this game with mommy and daddy now, right?
Beer. A lemon.
Okay, so we're going to watch back the presentation. Everybody's going to play this game with mommy and daddy now, right? So we got a new game to play. It's called the alphabet tree game. Okay, Andrea, take it away. We'll go on to the next slide. Next.
I want to do P, Miss.
Woo, and that game just flew away. So, the importance of forests. So, trees and forests, seasons, and of course, we're going to learn how to plant, right? Everybody could mute back their mics and listen for a little while again to Auntie Talya. All right, next. So we all learned a little bit about trees just now. You all know when the trees are found in one area, we call them a forest. And they have many types of forests all over the world. They have pine forests. And in the Caribbean, we have something called tropical rainforests. And tropical rainforests are sometimes called jungle. We call it jungle. And they have all different types of trees that make up this forest. And They are very, very, very important because all these trees as a collection, they absorb so much carbon because they're taking it in for photosynthesis, and we call it a carbon sink because the carbon is sinking down into the forest. And then, of course, we talked about when the tree leaves die, the leaves die and they fall on the ground, and that causes the leaves, and that decays, and it makes new soil. They also provide plenty food, and they help steer all the water from the rain through the forest into one area, which we call aqueducts, or little rivers and tributaries that run through the forest, and that guides the little rivers out into the sea. So they're very, very, very important for all these what we call ecosystem services. And then, of course, the most important one that these forests are is that they are homes to almost 80% of the biodiversity in life and on the earth. And biodiversity is a big one, is a big word for life, all living things on the planet. So you see that they have squirrels and mushrooms and centipedes and bees and snakes, and of course you're seeing flowers and worms. So the
And
collection
mushrooms.
and mushrooms
And bees.
and bees, which are very important right now. You know that bees, the bees, when we see a bee now, do we kill it?
No,
miss.
no,
Let
you funny.
We need to save the bees because too many people are killing bees. So if you see a bee, you just run away.
Miss, you need bees for honey, miss.
Right? And in Tobago, we have something called the Main Ridge Forest, and it's a protected area in the Caribbean under Man and the Biosphere Project. And we have many protected areas all over the Caribbean that have forests, such as we learned just now in Suriname. So anybody lives close to a forest?
Yes, miss. Teacher,
I
I live to a forest. I live close to a place that's kind of like a forest.
Very good.
Near to stop trees.
Auntie Andrea's, we're going to talk about the importance of the forest now when it comes to, next slide, Andrea, when it comes to something phenomenal that we take for granted. Do you know there's something called forest bathing? Wow! In Japan, this is a big deal because people work so hard, they came up with a term called forest bathing. Me?
Yeah, yes, some berries in the forest.
Right. So it don't mean you're going in the forest and take a bathe with water. You just go into the forest and relax. And you go for a walk. And the forests are very important when it is we want to relax and take a nice walk in nature and breathe some fresh air. There's a lot of benefits from going into the forest and not going to do anything destructive, but you're going to camp and you're going to sit down and tell stories and you go for a walk. And some people do
And you can roast marshmallows.
and roast marshmallows, and you could go biking. So it's very important to understand that the forests, we need to preserve them just how they are because they offer all these things and also a safe place for us. It's not a scary place. In the dark, it might be a little scary, but in the daytime, it's nice and you could go and relax with mommy and daddy. And right now, how the place is so stressful with pandemic and coronavirus, And in Trinidad and Tobago, we can't really go anywhere. We can't leave our houses right now to do much. But if you live close to a park or a forest, it's just nice to go and sit down in it and put away your cell phones and carry a book or just lie on the grass and watch up at the sky. It's very relaxing. Next.
And fun.
And fun. Okay, so in the Caribbean, we have the rainy season and the dry season. And I know we have some people from other parts of the world here, but that have winter, spring, summer, and fall. So the rainy season is like springtime, and the dry season is like summertime, right? So press once again, Andrea. So I want to see some hands up, okay? Not one set of people talking. Hands up. Should we plant a tree seedling in the rainy season or in the dry season? Who thinks to have the answer to this question?
In the rainy season.
The rainy season.
Rainy season.
Rainy season.
Rainy season. Miss the dry season.
Okay.
Miss both.
Ah, right. So it's important that we,
It's good for the plant to be planted in the rainy season
okay,
because
but do
it
you,
gets water.
right, and water is very important. So let Miss answer the question, right? So you know there's the dry season that's then the rains kind of start to come slowly and then all of a sudden it's a lot of rain. It's important that we time when we're planting a tree. Now this man on the left, he's doing agriculture. So he has to plant all year round and he has to make sure and water his crops. But the picture on the left shows that it's the rainy season, the height of the rainy season, which is what's happening right now. We have a lot of rain. So it's very important whenever you decide you are going to plant your tree that we understand how much water the tree needs, the little baby seedling needs. And what I always advise is you plant at the very end of the dry season or the beginning of the rainy season. So the rain is not too hard to destroy the little plant, but it's also not very dry where it's too much hot sun and the sun blazing down on the plant. So we're going to learn about it now. Next slide. So we're going to learn about, and yes, too much water could even kill the plant. We're going to learn about, and yes,
Chloe Marie.
we're going to learn about how to plant. So pay attention. Next slide. So we're going to remove the seedling from the container because it doesn't make sense that you put a little seed in the ground unless you're going to know where that seed goes. So what we always say is put the seed in a container first and let it sprout into a seedling. So that there's what you call a seedling. It's a little plant and the roots are very delicate. So you remove the seedling from the container and you be very careful with the roots. And then you dig a hole in the spot where you want to plant it and you save all the soil that you dig out of the hole and you put it on the side. And then you put a little bit of water at the bottom of the hole. And then you gently rest your seedling into the hole. Now the hole cannot be too deep that when you rest it in, the whole plant goes down in it. So you dig about 2 to 5 inches or about the length of your finger into the ground. And then you put the seedling in the hole and then all the soil that you dug out from the hole, you take that and you pat it back and you put it back around the seedling. So you dig a hole, not too deep, the length of your finger, put a little water at the bottom, save the soil at the side, gently place your seedling in, put back the soil around it, and you pat around it very gently. And then this is where it comes from. If we're doing this in the rainy season, you have to make sure and protect your seedling from not getting too much water. So you could take some sticks that out in the garden or you find in the forest and you stick it into the ground around your seedling. And that way you mark your area where your seedling is in case the lawnmower man come around and might cut it. And that way you know where it is, or if you have any pets running around in the yard, they won't damage it. So you make sure and build a little tent with sticks around your seedling.
Wall.
Right? A little wall, a little teepee we call it, or a little wall. But you make sure you mark the area where you just put your seedling. Because if you have grass around or other things around, it could just get lost in all the other greenery. Okay, next slide.
Yes, you can cut the grass so it doesn't kill the seed.
Right, but then make sure when you go back to cut the grass, because the grass will be growing the same time that the seedling growing. So you make sure and you put a stick and you mark
And
where you put it.
stifle the seed.
Right at the side. And then of course, you
Miss,
have to water
Miss
your
something.
seedling.
this
Something like Miss something that Miss what you are planting.
Whatever you're
Miss
planting, you
Miss
have to make sure and water it.
Yes, Miss I like yam Miss I see the yam Miss you Miss that you planting Miss I see the leaf Miss starting to churn Miss jump I take beside it Miss the leaf you can go on it Miss and water it good and neat to Miss like
Yes. You have to
planting carrot
water it very good and you have to keep the animals away from it.
from it like goat and dog Miss.
Right. So that's why it's important you keep the dogs and you don't make sure the goats don't go and eat it and you tie your goats or you take sticks and you make a little tent around it and that way they wouldn't notice it and it will look like if it's a stick on the ground. So it's very important that what you do have to do then, you have to make sure and check on your little plant, right? You can't just dig the hole and leave it in the ground and walk away and say, oh my God, when you go back in one whole week and it died, it's like a baby. So you have to take care of it, right? So
Yes,
water it
miss.
every day, go and check on it, make sure nothing went and damaged it. And of course, go and take care of it. Like if it's a baby, and shelter it and give it water. Make sure it have sticks around it. It might need a little help and you might need to have to tie the seedling to the stick until the seedling gets enough strength to stand up properly. So it's very important to take care of your seedling or plants that you grow. Next slide, please. Any questions?
Teacher, teacher,
Yes.
use a big stick and make pull it right around.
Yes, you could make it like you could make it with some gaps around it and make sure it gets in sunlight. It have to get sunlight as well too, right?
And you have to come and water it every day if no rain.
Every day. And yes, protect it from animals. Okay, so we have to make sure and take care of them, right? So next.
Miss.
So you mark the area where your seedling is planting. And if you all are going to do work as a group or community and you're going into the forest to plant, you have to make sure you know where you put that plant. So you mark the area with a tire stick and you tie a red piece of cloth around it or a colorful piece of cloth around the stick. So next time you go back into the forest or the big open area, you know where you planted your plants and where it needs protecting and where it needs watering and where it needs to make sure that you're getting nutrition. So everybody could, what you say, we call it adopt a tree now, and you take care of the tree until it gets big enough to take care of itself. Right?
Okay, teacher, take care of yourself too.
Okay.
Miss. Bye, Miss.
So now we're going to watch a video. It's called the Save a Seed campaign. So I want all of you all to become tree planting ambassadors, right?
Miss,
Yes.
I have my own plant.
Very good, Toya. So watch the video, right? And then we'll talk after.
Hi, we're Caribbean Tree Planting Ambassadors, and we're going to show you 5 steps on how to save your seeds so you can plant more trees. Let's go.
Hey, I'm Luke Pounder from Trinidad and Tobago. Did you know you could plant a tree from most seeds?
Miss, I'm not seeing your presentation.
Hi, my name is Brittany Burns. I'm the Tree Planting Ambassador of Barbados.
It is breaking up.
First, you place the seed in a paper
Auntie will send the
towel
link and you all could watch it.
Teacher, can you see it it's freezing? I can see it very well. It's breaking up and I
Now,
cannot
place the
see
seed
it.
in moderate sunlight.
I cannot see it very well.
Ensure that the soil stays moist.
I'm Daniel from Jamaica and I'm excited to now be at the stage of potting or seedling. Here we have a sprouted seed and we have also chosen our potting. So the next step is to put the seed
Maybe I cannot see that or can hear it.
Finally, it's time to plant. All seeds.
Miss will share the link for you all to watch it. Don't worry, the internet
But
giving
once
trouble.
they show their shoot,
In the
it's
chat, right? I'm
ready
going to put it in
sow
the
its
chat.
roots so that
Okay, me.
bear more fruit.
Hi, I'm Marissa from the Tree Planting Project in Cayman. Now that your seed is receiving, it's time to put it in the ground.
Greetings from the Bahamas. My name is Copeland Smith. I am a tree planting ambassador. It's time to get the sapodilly in the dirt. And it's easy as that.
Now that you know what to do, save your seed.
And follow these steps to plant your own tree.
Don't forget to hashtag us at Save a Seed Camp on Instagram.
And remember, if we can save our seeds, we can save our future.
Okay, everyone, that is the tree planting ambassadors from our project, and they've all been saving their seeds all over the Caribbean. I put the link in the chat, so you could just click on the link and it will open up. But our YouTube channel is called Caribbean Tree Planting Project. And your mummies and daddies will help you all find it. It's called the Caribbean Tree Planting Project. And all our videos are on that YouTube channel. And you could watch all the different types of events that we have been having this whole week. All right, so very quickly, before we do our poem, I'm going to take questions. I see 5 hands up. We're going to take these questions, right? Because we're running out of time. And we have somebody going to perform a poem for us that's very special. So Tanoya, you're first. You can ask your question. Tanoya.
Miss?
Yes, Tanoya. Hi.
I cannot see. I cannot hear you, Miss.
Oh, sorry, Tanoya. Something wrong with your video. Use the chat.
What did you say, Miss?
Use the chat. She's not hearing. Ketanoia, I don't know why you're not using, I don't know, I'm not sure why you're not hearing. Go to the chat. Use the chat. Okay, Zoe, Tamara, Mohammed, you're next. You have a question?
We've planted lots of trees and plants.
No question.
Very good.
I just have.
Very good.
Do you like the presentation? Do you like the trees and the forest?
Yeah, but I don't know what to say.
Okay, who's next? Nasaya Scott, you're next. Sarah, I'm seeing hands up. If you all don't have any questions to ask, put
Yes,
your hands
miss.
down, please. You have a question?
No, miss.
Okay, put your hand down, please.
Sorry, miss.
It's okay, Isaiah.
Miss,
Yes.
when you water the plant, Miss, what does it do to the soil?
The water helps keep the soil moist, and water is very important for all the chemical reactions needed for both plants and animals. So the water goes into the plant, it absorbs through the roots. It's very similar to how we drink water, and it helps keep the plant lubricated and moist inside. And it's needed for all the reactions. Remember the slide where we showed photosynthesis, and it needed water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. So water is needed for chemical reactions. Without water, we will basically not be able to process all the nutrition that we have and make sure that our bodies continue working. And the same thing for plants. If the plants don't get water, so water moves up and down plants through.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, who's saying excuse me?
Miss Sarah Rondon.
Hey guys, so
now we'll take it to Anthea, who's going to introduce our poet, and then Luke. Thanks so much, y'all. I know you'll have a lot of
thank
questions.
you. Say
but
hi, Auntie Talya. Thank you so much.
we have a little bit of time, okay?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys. So we learned a lot today. So we're going to hear from Amelia and Duki Ali, who is from Rosewood School in Trinidad and Tobago, and she's going to share a wonderful poem with us. Then after that, we're going to hear from Luke Pound, who's going to give us a call to action. So please go to Amelia.
Amelia, we lost her. I know she's on. Miriam.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amelia Ann. Trees, trees, trees. Trees can be short, trees can be tall. Whatever kind, I like them all. They give us oxygen, they give us air. We give them love, we give them care. We take care of each as if they were our own, from when they're seedlings to fully grown. From bananas to plums, from mangoes to grapes, they give us different fruits and grow in different shapes. With their colorful leaves and long brown trunk, we know that the beautiful trees are not junk. They need water, soil, space, and light. We give them those things day and night. So today we all say hooray and speak for the trees. Special Caribbean celebration is called Caribbean Tree Planting Week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you, Amelia. Beautiful, beautiful poem. So we learned a lot today, a whole lot today. And I have a whole lot of things that Auntie Talya shared with us. But the biggest one is that trees are important in our lives, very important in our lives. And she gave us so much information that now you can go back home and make a garden and plant many trees. We'd like to thank our schools and our teachers for their daily commitment every day. So I know that many of you who are online is because of your wonderful teachers who are committed to educating the future of our countries throughout the region. And also for our parents who stayed online with us, thank you for taking the time this evening to participate with the children in this special event. And of course, we want to thank you. So Zara, Jamelia, Amelia, Madison, so many of you who joined us today from Jamaica, Belize, all over the Caribbean. You did an amazing job participating, and we want to thank you so much. And of course, I'll have to say there's a wonderful woman here called Barbara Bridgewater who helped us put this wonderful presentation together as well. And she provided a lot of teaching and environmental knowledge for us to develop this presentation. So thank you, Auntie Barbara. So I all know that you are much more aware and knowledgeable about the importance of trees and the value of trees and how important it is in our lives. And I want you to go back home and speak to your friends at home, in your neighborhood, in your community, and share the importance of trees. And of course, you all can get together with family and friends and plant a tree. And so I'm excited that you joined us. And of course, it's on live, and you can always go back if you want to learn more about trees. You can always press and rewind, and you can listen to the presentation all over again. I want to thank you so much. Now, just letting you know that I don't want you to be a stranger. We are here. We're only a website away. I know many of you love technology because I saw how you were able to go in and out with Zoom, and I know that you do it every day. So we're just a website away, and you can call on your youth ambassadors. So in your different countries, no matter where you are in the Caribbean, you can always get in contact with us, and you can get in contact with us on the website, or you can talk to your youth ambassadors to share information on how to participate in the Caribbean Tree Plan. So I'm going to end here, but just say to you a couple words. These are my words. Kind hearts are gardens. Kind words are the roots. Kind thoughts are the flowers. Kind deeds are the fruits. Take care of your garden and keep out the weeds. Fill it with sunshine, kind words and kind deeds. Always do what you can and plant a seed, especially on Caribbean Tree Planting Week. So I want you to continue to participate with us in Caribbean Week. And I'm going to send you right over now to Luke, who is going to talk to you about what you need to do to continue to support us this week and beyond. So take it away, Luke.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we can
All
hear
right.
you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Luke, and I'm one of Trinidad's tree planting ambassadors. I personally love nature, and I love our Caribbean. The Caribbean is a region of many countries. Each country is unique, yet we are all very similar, historically, culturally, and geographically. That means we have a similar past, way of life, and climate. Most of our countries, though, are small island developing states, some of the most vulnerable to climate change. So in the coming years, we could expect more severe droughts, intense storms, and rising sea levels. We face similar risks, but there are similar solutions. As an individual island, we have weaknesses, but as a united Caribbean, we could become stronger and more prepared. The goal of the Planted Roots is to encourage all of us to take part in this fight against climate change. And in the past year, Planted Roots has planted over 1.5 million trees in the Caribbean. With the current rate of trees being cut down, these efforts are important so we could reduce the impacts of climate change. And that's why I encourage you all to sign the letter to properly establish a Caribbean Tree Planting Week, where once a year for an entire week, we could team up as one to promote awareness, education, and plant trees to protect our Caribbean. It is up to us to take action because our trees and forests protect our animals, our soil, our climate, and our future. Because we are the future, and it starts with you. So we all need to make an effort to protect our Caribbean. You could get involved with us and join as a member or volunteer to plant more trees. You make sure you don't litter and use the 4 Rs, which are reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. Because they have so many different things that we don't need in our lives, but we could use reusable things like containers, bottles, and straws, and refuse things like styrofoam and single-use plastic. And make sure and stay healthy, eat healthy, and drink a lot of water. And of course, grow your own plants. Try to plant some trees, fruits, and vegetables in your garden and take care of them. And finally, never stop learning. Thank you.
Thank you. And what I would say before we leave is that we have this special partner who is with us, Alba, all the way from Denmark, who made these beautiful tree shirts. And the shirts are all white and have beautiful trees in the middle. And if you'd want one, you could always get one, and you could always talk to your school, or you can talk to your teachers. You can wear a tree shirt with us to celebrate Caribbean Tree Planting Week or Caribbean tree planting for the rest of the year. So I want to say thank you to all of you for coming on, and I want you to give yourself a round of applause, and a round of applause to Auntie Talya, who did a wonderful job sharing all her information and her knowledge about trees. And we're going to say bye-bye and see you
Bye,
later.
everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks
Everybody.
to all in the chat.
Thank you.
Talya.
Bye.
And for the song, let's put
Oh,
the
we have a
song.
song to play for you if you want to listen.
Bye. Okay.
And all the links are on the chat.
Serious times.
Thanks again. Bye.
Global financial meltdown. That's what I'm saying. Money over food, for real. Every day we are stored up vanity, yet there's a crisis on the rise. One way to preserve humanity, it's time we realize intellectualities and technologies will surely go to waste. Got to think about survival. Let's do this in a haste. Plant some trees. Food crisis on the horizon. Plant some seeds. Plant it in and out of season. Plant some trees. It's time to start the mission. Plant some seeds. Whoa, yo, 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 yo. Politicians don't have the answer. We change them every time. Even though we make the change, things remain the same. We did and lost the truth. IMF is not the solution. We did and lost the truth. We need this revolution. We did and lost the truth. We control our destiny. The only solution is production and the science of self-reliance. Plant some trees. Food crisis on the horizon. Plant some seeds. Got to plant them out of season. Plant some trees. It's time to start the mission. Plant some seeds. Plant it in and out of season. Global financial meltdown put the whole world in a spin. These great financial wizards couldn't see this coming. Now we know the truth, got to take it to the root. Now we know the truth, we got to grow the fruit. Now we know the truth, this wealth won't get us back. on the horizon. Plant some seeds, plant them in and out of season. Plant some trees, food crisis on the horizon. Plant some seeds, plant them in and out of season. Plant some trees, food crisis on the horizon. Plant some seeds, plant it in and out of season. Plant some trees, got to plant some trees. Plant some trees, some seeds. Oh, plant it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining. Bye. The presentation will be on Facebook and you all could watch it back anytime, right?
Hello.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.